Sass, and in today's episode, we are going to take a little bit of a break from our channel tab screen and jump into our settings screen and add a little bit more functionality to this bad boy. So ideally, I would like for us to be able to, pick a profile photo and change our username for the currently logged in user. So on the right simulator, this is the completed version of our project. The left simulator is the current state of our settings screen. Really what I want us to focus on is this functionality that allows us to be able to change the profile photo of the currently logged in user. So let's say I pick something like this nice Swift logo and I hit the save button. We have this nice progress HUD right here. And it actually updates the currently logged in user profile photo. So if I jump into, for example, the updates tab, look at that, it's that currently logged in user. And I would also like for us to be able to change the username. So like we can actually change the username and the bio for the currently logged in user. However, in the current state of our project, as you can see, we can't do any of that yet. So I would like for us to focus on this profile picker functionality. And that's going to be the focus of today's video. Let's jump right into Xcode and get started. I'm going to go and just look up our Command Shift and O as always, our settings. I think we call the settings tab screen. And let's see, right now we have our SwiftUI preview. Let me enable that bad boy. And make sure everything is working just so we see what our project looks like in this state. But really what we want to do is to, of course, add that photo picker functionality to our settings screen. So it's currently loading right now, but I believe the profile photo or the profile edit section is the setting edit view. So if I command and jump into this, it's this section down here. And I think we have the circle and we have our user info text view. So I would like to replace this circle with the actual circular profile image view components that we built a couple of episodes ago. But before we even bother focusing on that, ideally I want us to have some sort of a, in our SwiftUI preview is finally back online, but ideally I want us to have some sort of a tab gesture or something so that when we click this profile photo or when we click this change profile photo button, we're actually going to present the user with the photo picker library and they can select the photo. So the first thing we need to do, to be honest, is to actually create a view model for the settings tab screen because it looks like we don't even have one for it right now. So I'm going to go ahead and close a bunch of these folders that I have open and I'm going to go to the settings folder and I'm going to create a view model folder inside of our settings folder. And I'm going to go ahead and create a settings view model. So I'm going to call it settings tab view model. I think that's a good name. Settings tab view model. Excuse me, guys. And as always, I'm going to make it a final class. Settings tab view model. And it's going to be an observable object. You already know the drill. And what do we need? Well, let's jump back to our settings view. I'm going to open the setting tab screen. And I'm going to declare a state object up here to initialize our view model. And it's going to be settings tab view model. Okay, so with that being done now, let us jump into business. The first thing we want to do is to use the photo picker library. Thankfully, this is pretty easy actually because, in the completed version of the project, we're just selecting one single photo. We're not even doing multi-photo selection. So this should be a breeze. The first thing we need to do is right here inside of our H stack. So let's see, what do we want to do? So inside of our H stack, I would like for us to move the settings item view, the one that is responsible for this change profile photo, this avatar one. Let us move it and wrap it inside of a photo picker component. So we have this photo picker components that Apple provides us, but we might need to import what is the name of the module again? The Photos UI module before we can even do anything. So import Photos UI module. Let's scroll back down here and let us wrap this bad boy as we were about to inside of a photo picker component. So I'm going to say Photos Picker, and we're looking for the one that has a single selection. And so as you can see, it says it's binding, it's a single item. And okay, we want a single selection, and I think that's really all that we want. And actually, I want the matching, but we're going to get to that. So it's going to ask for a selected photo picker. For now, let's just leave that. Let's open this, shell enclosure, and let us pass in our settings item view here. And then for the binding, we need this selected photo picker item, or this photo picker item. And I'm going to go into the settings tab view model, and I'm just going to declare a published property here that's going to represent that. So I'm going to say a published var selected photo picker photo item, selected photo item. I think that's a good name. And I'm going to make it of type photo picker item. Of course, it's going to be optional, right? And this is probably going to yell at us because it can't find a module. So let's go right ahead and import. We have to always import SwiftUI and the Photos UI module to use this photo picker items, class. So I'm going to import Photos UI module, and it should be happy with us now. So let's jump back to our settings screen. And so now we can say, I want us to do something like view model dot. I would like for us to do something like view model dot selected photo picker item, but we don't have a view model instead of the settings header view because it's a struct. So I'm going to go right ahead and actually just pass in our view model into this header view, and I'm just going to say I want to make it an observed object, and I'm going to explain why. If you guys don't know what an observed object is, you can think of it almost as, the way to think of it is you can think of it as a binding for state object, because now this settings header view is going to be able to react and refresh when this settings tab view model changes. So I'm going to annotate it as observed object, okay? And let's just make it a private var and make it view model. And it's going to be of type settings tab view model. And I'm going to go ahead and create a custom initializer, to be honest, guys. Move that bad boy like that. and everything is good and dandy. So now I can say view model.selected photo picker or photo item. Okay, so we're gonna have to go inject this, view model into our settings editor view up here. So let Xcode fix that for us, and all we gotta just say is view model, which is the state object that we have already declared right here. So let's wait for our SwiftUI preview to do its thing, and I'm going to explain again why this is an observed object. Again, if you're not really familiar with the observed object property wrapper, the way I like to think of it is you can think of it as a binding, but for state objects, right? We have a state object in this case, which is just an observable object, and when we want to bind that to a child view, and in this case, this settings editor view is a child view of our overall settings tab screen, right? But we want it to be reactive. We want this view model, we want to listen to changes inside of it, and so that's why we're marking it as an observed object. I hope that's a good enough explanation. So the next thing I want us to do is to be able to click this change profile photo button, and oh wow, it actually, yeah, look at that. So I want us to just click change profile photo button, present us with that. Oh yeah, because we don't have to manually trigger the change because it's a component. So all we got to do is just click on change profile photo button. Look at that, it presents us with that, and that's exactly what we want. The next thing I want us to do is when we select each of this photo, I want us to dismiss it like it just did, but then I want to change this circular profile image to the actual selected photo that we selected. And in order for us to do that, we need to create some sort of a profile image component. So as you already know, I like to break things into functions because, I mean, we could go ahead and create the profile image right here, but it's just going to clutter this H stack. And this is so much more readable, in my opinion, doing this approach. So I'm going to say profile image view, and let's see. I'm going to say return me some view. And what is profile image view going to be? Well, this time around, I'm going to say, so really what I want to do now is I actually want to go back into the view model because I want us to have some sort of a profile photo inside of our view model. So I'm going to go inside of our view model. I'm going to add another publish property, and this is just going to be called profile photo. And profile photo is going to be what? Well, profile photo is just going to be our media attachment. Remember, we have a media attachment a while ago that we created that we're using to power our chat room, media messages. And so we're going to have to convert this photo picker item into this media attachment, type. And we've done that already, but we're going to do that again pretty soon. So let's go back to our settings screen. And so now all I want to do now is I just want to do something like I want to unwrap. I'm going to say if let profile photo is view model.profile photo. So how am I going to use that? Well, I'm just going to create a SwiftUI image, use the UI image parameter, and I'm going to say profile photo dot thumbnail. Remember the media attachments have a thumbnail property, and we can command and jump into it, but we did this a while ago, so we have a thumbnail property. So let's just go ahead and utilize that. And so what else do we want to do? Okay, so we have a thumbnail. I want to make it resizable, and I'm just going to give it scale to fill, and let's see, I'm going to give it a frame and height, and I'm going to give it a frame. The width is 55, or yeah, 55. Give it a height of 55 as well. I think, yeah, that matches with the circle that we have here. And what else do we want? Let's give it a clip shape of capsule. Actually, no, circle, not capsule, circle. So now let's take our profile image view and let's replace this, circle here with our profile image view, initialize that bad boy. And the reason it's yelling at us is because, remember, this is optional because the profile photo could be nil. So I'm going to mark it as a view builder because view builder allows us to be able to build a dynamic or construct a dynamic components. And so I'm going to do an else statement here, right? And really what I'm trying to do here is, let me go back to the completed version of our project. So this is the completed version of our project. And let's say we go ahead and, kill the project. Let's just try to reopen it pretty quickly, just so I show you what I'm trying to do. If I select a profile photo, let's say I select this nice tigress photo, look at that, it changes, right? And when it's not changing, when the profile photo is not changing, you can see selected or it showed the original profile photo for the user. So we want an else statement here that is just going to use the circular profile image view components. So circular profile image view components, it's going to ask for a profile image URL. Let's pass in nil for now. And then for the size, let's give it something like custom size 55 because that looks pretty good to me. And let us wait for our SwiftUI preview to load up, okay? So this right now is going to default to this state because remember, the profile photo inside of our view model doesn't have any value right now. And as you can see, we have that beautiful. So if we click on it, if we click on this, right, it should open that up. And let's say we select this. Now, I want us to, when we dismiss it, I want us to change this to the selected profile photo. And that's going to be light work, boys. Let's jump into our settings tab view model and actually do that conversion. We've already done this a bunch of times, if you guys remember, for the channel tab screen. And really all we want to do is we want to convert our, photo picker item to our media attachment. And the first thing we're going to do is, let's see. The first thing we want to do is let's go right ahead and import combine because we're going to need that bad boy. And what do we want next? Well, let's go right ahead and set up some sort of a parser, right? And so I'm going to call some sort of a function. I'm just going to set up a combined listener that is going to listen for when this photo picker item is, selected. Then I want us to convert it to media attachments. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to create a private function here. And I'm just going to say on photo picker selection. Again, we did something very similar inside of our channel module. And I'm just going to say, let's see, I'm going to create a subscription right here. I'm going to say private var subscription. And it's just going to be of type any cancelable. This is just combined syntax. Hopefully you're familiar with this by now. And the subscription is just going to be equals to our $ selected photo picker item. So what do we want? Well, let's first receive it on the main thread. So I'm going to say .main.dispatch q.main. And what else do we want? Let us sync into it. Let's listen for it. I don't like the receive value one. I just want to do the regular sync. Give me the trailing closure syntax. Sync. And now I'm going to make sure we create a, weak reference because, again, we're good developers. We don't want memory leaks. So I'm going to say photo item in. So where do we want to call this photo picker selection? Pretty simple. We're just going to create an initializer right here, and we're going to call this photo picker selection. And remember, this is a combined listener, so anytime this is selected or anytime it is removed, we're going to have this closure fire. And so inside of this closure, what do we want to do? Well, we want to convert our photo picker item to immediate attachments. And all we got to do to make that happen, guys, is just say something like, let's see, we're going to go ahead and say let data is equals to try await photo item. And actually, let's create a different function for this. I'm going to create a different function that's just going to parse it. I'm going to say parse photo picker item, and it's going to take in the photo picker item that it's going to be parsing, and it's just going to parse it to immediate attachments, struct. And I'm just going to create a task up here. Let's see, and I'm just going to do the statement that I wanted to do up here. So I want to say God let data is try await photo picker or photo item. We have this load data transfer method, and the type that we want is just data.self, right? The selected data for the photo picker, and I'm going to create the UI image here. So UI image, and the UI image is going to be UI image from the data constructor. So passing the data that we're loading. And what else do we want to do? So I think we're just going to return out of the scope if any of these two is nil. Excuse me, guys. And now all we got to do is self.profile photo, right? This profile photo, which is just immediate attachments, is going to be equals to, let's construct immediate attachments, and it's going to ask for an ID and type. For the ID, I'm just going to say UUID .uuid string, just give us some random ID. And then for the type, we want a photo because that's what this is, and it's going to ask for a thumbnail as an associated value. Let's pass in that UI image as our thumbnail. And I think that's all we need, guys. And I think we can we pass in data here? I think that's all we need. So just pass in our profile photo, and we are good to go. And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and mark this entire class as a main actor because we're not really doing anything heavy in here, so it's okay. And now we're just going to call this self.parse photo picker item inside of our combined closure, and let's pass in the photo item that we are actually parsing, and it's going to yell at us what's going on. Why is that? Oh, is that optional? Well, let's unwrap that, guys. So yeah, because this photo picker item is optional as well, so let's just unwrap it. God lets photo item is equals to photo item, else return out of the scope because it is not really anything for us to pick. And so with that, now let's jump back into our settings screen and let us actually select a profile photo, and we should be able to see the profile photo that we have selected, guys. So I'm going to go change profile photo. Let's pick this nice flower. Look at that. Boom. Again, you guys get what's going on? Really, what's going on is, let's try it again. Let's try this nice waterfall. Boom. We have that waterfall now. Really, what's just going on is, again, remember our profile image view, this function, this view builder, is basically listening for the profile photo. And remember, this settings editor view is an observed object. It has an observed object of our view model, which means it's going to react when something changes inside of our view model. And this profile photo, which is just immediate attachments inside of our view model, this media attachments, right? Whenever this value is no longer nil, it's going to fire and create a SwiftUI image component. It's going to use the thumbnail inside of the media attachment to set up that bad boy. However, if this profile photo is nil, right, it's just going to use the circular profile image view, which is the components we built a while ago. So that's awesome. The last thing I want us to do in this episode before we wrap up, I would like for the settings tab screen to, of course, have some sort of a currently logged in user information. Because if you think about it, the settings tab screen should know which user is currently logged in. And we could just do that by just asking for it directly here. I'm just going to say private let current user. It's going to be of type user item. Again, it's not optional because whenever you're inside of this settings screen, you already should know what the currently logged in user is. So I'm going to create a private initializer, actually. Not a private initializer, just create a regular initializer. I don't need, I'm just going to do it myself. Fine, I'll do it myself. Sometimes Xcode is just like terrible at auto-completion. So I'm just going to say self dot, actually I want current user, not current. Self dot current user is going to be current user. And preview is going to yell at us. Let's go ahead and fix that real quick. We're going to use the placeholder for our user item. So we have our current user set up, and also our main tab view is going to yell at us. So I'm going to Command Shift and O, go into our main tab view because our main tab view has that current user. So inside of our main tab view now, I'm going to pass in our settings tab screen. I'm going to give it the currently logged in user because remember the main tab view also has the current user. I'm just going to pass in that current user into our main tab view. So with those little bit of dependency injection handled, let's jump back to our settings tab screen and let's actually use the the current user information. The other thing I'm going to do really quickly is this settings editor view. Let's also ask for the current user. So I'm going to say private let's current user. Give me the current user. So type user item, come on, and let's inject that into our initializer as well. I'm just going to say current user, and it's of type user item. And I'm just going to say self, the current user is current user. Alrighty. And what do we want? Let's now use this current user right here. So we're going to use, instead of QA user 13, we're just going to say current user, the username. And instead of A there, I'm using WhatsApp. We're just going to say current user, the bio, current user, the bio unwrapped. Excuse me, guys. And now let's scroll all the way to the top and actually, inject this current user into our settings editor components. So let's just fix that and just pass in the current user that we already have inside of our settings tab screen. So let's wait for our SwiftUI preview. It should show like a username now, which is like the placeholder. but in the completed project, so it shows OSAS, that's the placeholder. If we run our project in the simulator, we should see the name of the actual currently logged in user. In the next episode, guys, we're going to actually upload our profile photo and also deal with actually showing, changing username and bio for our currently logged in user, which is going to be a lot of fun, guys. So let's wait for the simulator to boot up and do its thing. Again, sometimes it just takes a second for my computer. It's just acting all slow right now. Okay, let's jump into our settings screen and look at that. QA user 50. If we go to our console, look at that. We're currently logged in as QA user 50 right there. And let's jump back into the simulator. Look at that. That looks beautiful, guys. Let's say we pick a profile photo of this nice person. It shows that. But as you can see, we're actually still seeing videos in our photo picker. And we actually don't want to show videos as well because we're not actually, parsing the video media items. And so, for example, if I select a video, as you can see, it's not changing because you can't set a video as your profile photo, as far as I'm aware, in the completed version of actual WhatsApp. So let's jump back to Xcode and fix this. So this photo picker component right here, it actually gives us a way to be able to filter for the specific type of media content that we have, that we want. So we can say something like matching. And all we got to say is not. And the not is a filter. It's a predicate filter that's going to ask us for what do we want to filter out of our media components, out of our photo library components, and we just say we don't want videos. And so now if we run our project again, we should not be seeing videos inside of our photo picker when we're trying to pick a profile photo. So let's jump into our settings screen, click on that change profile photo button. Look at that, guys. That's awesome. No more videos. And every single photo that we select is going to change to that. So as I said, that's it for this episode. In the next episode, guys, we're actually going to, whenever we change this profile photo, I want us to have some sort of a save button that pops up here. We click that save button, we upload the profile photo, and I also like for us to be able to change the bio and the username for our currently logged in user. Thanks for watching as always, guys. We're making so much progress. There's still a couple of things for us to build, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I appreciate all the love and support. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.